Hey guys, it's Courtney from Lil's Bloom, and I am here to talk to you about the forecast from February 6th to the 11th. This is going to be a big week, and I kind of wanted to focus on the overall theme that we're going to experience, and I'll lightly touch on what this will look like for each of the rising signs or the zodiac signs. But I think that this is one that we're all going to feel on some really profound level, and so I'm excited to share this with you. So let's go ahead and get started with February 6th, where Mercury is making a sextile to Neptune. So this is really good kind of creative energy. We might be a lot more sensitive. This is generally a day in which we might feel like a little bit inspired and excited about life. This is on a Monday, so it's a good day to kind of get your creative plans in motion, especially because Mercury is in Capricorn. And I'm just going to briefly discuss these transits, and then I'm going to get into like the overarching message. So definitely stay tuned if you're more of like a big picture thinker. On the 8th, we have Venus in Pisces, sextile Uranus. So this can bring some volatility, but excitement and stimulation within our relationships and money. Because Venus is in Pisces, we are all feeling a lot more compassionate and loving and understanding. Especially, this is going to help us in our relationship with ourselves, give ourselves a little bit more compassion and healing, and make some changes that we might need to actually align our lives with that sense of compassion. And then on the 10th, which is Friday, we have Mercury conjunct Pluto. And this is a really big one that I want to discuss. And this is going to definitely bring out a lot more intensity. And I'm going to discuss that in just a second. I wanted to mention the next day, Mercury will move into Aquarius. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what that actually looks like to have Mercury conjunct Pluto on a Friday, because I really feel like for many of us, we've been lacking some clarity around something that we need to do or that we need to say. And I think we have this sense of truth with this lapis lazuli card, which I pulled, and it was talking about speaking our truth. And it specifically said that there will be an intense expression of things that we've suppressed as we finally unburden our baggage. And I really see that for many of us. I feel like that's what Mercury with Pluto tends to do, is it brings up all the baggage and the shit that we've pushed down, and it bubbles up to the surface and it explodes. And hopefully it will come out in a constructive way where we are truthful and honest about something in our lives. And that could look like a discussion with somebody else where you need to tell somebody how you really feel, or this could look like a truth within yourself about something that is or isn't working, something that needs to be addressed, something that has been you've been pushing aside internally, because Pluto has a lot to do with our shadow. So things that we don't really want to face, things that feel like darkness, things that feel like they challenge us. And we're kind of scared to see what's on the other side. It can bring up fear. So those things that we might have feared addressing are going to come to the surface now, so that we can fully sit down and have a real conversation with people about what's going on. And I feel like for many of us, the reason why we didn't want to have a conversation before was because we weren't clear with this clarity card. And I really truly feel that the Friday that Mercury does conjunct Pluto, we're going to have this overwhelming sense of clarity around what it is that we actually feel, want, think, and need to say. And then once we identify what that truth is, it's going to make it a lot easier to speak it out, bring it out into the light, into the world. And that's going to change things. Once we do that, things pick up really, really quickly after that. But it's almost like we have to address the certain imbalances in our life. And I really see that also because I pulled the Six of Pentacles with the World card. The Six of Pentacles is feeling like you're getting the reciprocity for something in your life. Feeling like things are working, like you are giving energy, you are giving attention to something, and you are receiving things back. So let's say I'm giving energy and attention to my physical health, and I notice that my body isn't changing. And maybe I feel a little stronger, but it's also kind of hurting my back, for example. This is happening to me. And I also notice like I'm not really losing weight, but I've been working out every single day. And it can bring up those questions of, why am I making effort towards something that I feel like isn't fully reciprocated? Why do I feel like I'm trying and not getting to the place that I'm looking to get to? Why does it feel like my effort and my expenditures isn't reflected in the results around me in any capacity, in any area of life? This could be your effort in a relationship, your effort in your own personal health and your own mental health and the way that you talk to yourself. You could feel like you're always starting anew, or you're always kind of pushing, but you're regressing. And so what I'm getting from this is that there's an ending of this cycle where we become really aware of where our efforts have not been fully matched. And I think that this is actually coming to our lives because there's something that needed to be addressed first. There's something that actually I think was ultimately getting in the way, that we needed to fully understand, that we needed to fully feel and advocate for ourselves, or speak it out loud, or recognize that it was our truth. And then once that clicks into place, then we can start creating more of this reciprocal kind of relationship with something in our life. So for example, if you are like me, if I'm working out every day and I'm not seeing a change in my health, maybe it's because there's actually other stuff going on inside of me, some internal truths that I haven't fully recognized, that once I bring to the surface will become very clear around why the health isn't matching my efforts. And it could be the fact that maybe I'm not dealing with certain things emotionally, and I'm eating late at night, and blah, 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 blah. So there's always reasons why things aren't making progress in our life, and we have responsibility for that. And I think at this week, I was going to say full moon, it's not a full moon. I think during this Mercury with Pluto, we will have that awareness of how we are responsible, of how other people are responsible, of kind of where just the truth of the situation. And it will allow us to complete this cycle of imbalance and actually work on addressing what's wrong, speak our truths, and advocate for what we really need, what we really desire, and accept nothing less. Because I think many of us, I pulled the Seven of Wands in reverse, are experiencing a certain level of exhaustion. We're ready to give up. We're ready to throw in the towel. We're frustrated. We don't see a way out. We don't see things improving because we're putting this effort, not getting it in return. And I'm really seeing that this is for everyone in some area of life where you're starting to lose steam. You're starting to lose the energy. But I think that once we gain this clarity and this truth and we express it, or we make a decision, sometimes for many of us it will be a decision. Once I see that, things pick up so fast. I pulled the energy card. I feel like we're going to have tons of energy, focus, momentum on where exactly we're trying to go. I also pulled the Phoenix and the Cheetah. So it really feels like we're coming from this really depressing, kind of overwhelmed, exhausted perspective with the Phoenix. We're rising from the ashes with this new level of clarity. And we're stepping into this solar energy of the Cheetah, which is moving very rapidly with focus, with clarity, with direction, with a mission to go to some specific place. So it's almost like we're shedding that baggage, we're shedding that burden of that truth that we never wanted to tell people, that we weren't willing to look at within ourselves. We're finally addressing it. And then once we do that, it's like, boom, we can actually hit the ground running, and we have so much less things holding us back. We have so much more momentum. And it might be a difficult conversation. It might cause a little bit of conflict. It might be uncomfortable, but ultimately it's going to feel like this really powerful experience where we're like, yes, this is what I feel. This is what I think. This is what I want. And then from there, we can just move towards it. And we don't have to necessarily worry about these imbalances anymore, because we'll know what's causing that and how to actually fix it and address it. Because it could be just something that needs addressing. So what area of life is this going to affect? Well, this is happening in Capricorn. So I'm going to go through all of the signs. So Aries, this is in your career sector. So this could happen in terms of what you want long term. This could happen with colleagues. This could happen especially with supervisors, hierarchies, what you want with your goals, your purpose, your career. It doesn't have to occur in this area of life that I'm about to say, but it very likely may. Let's just say that. For Taurus, this is happening in your 9th house. So this is a lot around beliefs. This is a lot around studying, spirituality, religion, traveling. There you might have some kind of breakthrough realization that, oh, I really needed to learn that thing, or, oh, I have to shift this belief within myself, or this mentor that I've been following, I don't resonate with. I need to be honest with them. So there are different ways that can manifest for you. This could also have to do with, like, on a more practical level, this could have to do with getting a foreign visa, needing to do governmental paperwork, and things of that nature. Gemini, this is in your 8th house. So all of the past things that have made you feel insecure, that have made you doubt yourself, that have made you fear intimacy opening up, that the debt that's in your life, the taxes, basically all these little, if you're kind of having a canoe and you have like a bunch of little holes, that's the energy I get. It's like your things are leaking out of your life through fear, through worry. We often worry about taxes and intimacy and all those things. And so that I think is going to be patched up, and you're going to have a lot more clarity around why you've been having so much fear in that area of your life. For Cancer, this is in your 7th house of relationships. You guys are having some major realizations around other people in your life, maybe how you feel about people. Maybe people are coming to you and telling you that they've had an issue with you, or you're clearing things up. You're kind of feeling like things are actually being resolved. You're gaining understanding around maybe resentments or weird feelings that you've been having, things that you've pushed down. Those things are going to come to the surface to be addressed, and the way that you relate to people can change as a result of that. For Leo, this is in your 6th house of work. So this might be affecting how you work with your colleagues. This might be affecting how you handle your health, your responsibilities in your day-to-day life. Maybe you feel like you've been really overworked, really overwhelmed, and you're tired of it, and you feel like you're not getting what you deserve. And this is, I feel like, a common Leo message I've been seeing lately. And there might be some truth that you need to own up to with somebody within the workplace, with a colleague, for example, or even within yourself. And if things have been really unfair, because the 6th house is about unfair imbalances in work and many other things, this could affect your mental and physical health in a really big way. So it's important for you guys to own this and address this so that it can be resolved. For my Virgos, this is happening in your 5th house. So there's something about your creative essence, the things that you are super passionate about, that you're interested in, maybe even partially like your love and dating life or your relationship with your children. Those areas of your life have something that is hidden beneath the surface. Maybe there's something that in your relationship with your children that you've never fully addressed. Maybe there's a creative passion that you haven't had the confidence to fully step into. Maybe there's something about your relationship that feels like it's a little missing that zest of life, and you need to bring that back into your sex life or into your dating life, and really feel like, okay, this is truly what I want. This is truly what I need. I need to have an honest conversation and lay it all out there. For my Libras, this is in your 4th house. So this could be around home, family, emotions. So if there has been anything linked with your family, linked with your past, linked with how you've been feeling that could be remnants or remind you of your past, a lot of those things can come up right now where you're like, okay, I don't want to live here anymore. This isn't working for me. Or my relationship with my roommates, those things aren't going very well. Or maybe you just gain clarity about something that you felt for a really long time but haven't fully addressed and assimilated. For my Scorpios, this is in your 3rd house. So this has a lot to do with our mindset, our communication. Many of you will have a very important conversation at this time. Maybe you'll have a heart-to-heart and a realization about something, especially in the way that you address things with people, the way that you share ideas and information. Maybe you'll start to see where there was something that was actually really important that you weren't actually sharing. There's something really important that you weren't fully addressing that needs your attention or that needs somebody else's attention. This could also have to do with your kind of little tasks that you need to complete, that those busy things that make up a lot of our day. Actually, you might start to really see what truly matters to you and what doesn't, what actually brings in maybe money or value into your life and what doesn't. And I think this level of discernment and truth over those circumstances will really help you. Sagittarius, this is in your 2nd house. So these big conversations, these big realizations, the revelations of what feels authentic and what feels like you're maybe not addressing something is going to be in your area of finances. So this could have to do with purchasing something. This could have to do with the way that you value things in your life or even value yourself and your own self-confidence. This could have to do with the way that you make money and how much you feel like you're worthy of making. Those areas of your life could come under scrutiny where you realize, well, fuck, I have been operating out of fear, or I have been trying to avoid this conversation about this thing, or I haven't been budgeting and I'm starting to feel some type of way about it. And so that's something that can really come up, anything in regards to value and worthiness and money in your life. Also, just like the things that you own. So you might notice that there is a desire to purge some of your objects. Like, oh, I really don't need to have this many clothes. I really don't need to move all this stuff with me into the new house. You just get, I feel like, a little bit clearer around what it is that you really value, what is true for you and authentic for you. And so I think that's going to help you discern what you need, what you want, and what you don't. For Capricorn, this is in your first house. So this can really affect you in a lot of different ways. I don't like to really give a specific thing for the first house because I notice it tends to be kind of all pervasive. But it tends to most often correspond with either our life direction, what we want out of life, how we make decisions. It tends to correspond with our reputation, how people see us, how we see ourselves, and our physical appearance, our body, and how we take care of that. So those areas of life, or really any area of your life, can undergo a massive change where there is something on the internal level that you become aware of, that you're like, wow, I have not fully addressed this with my partner. I have not fully addressed this with myself, with my work. I haven't been honest about something, or I really need this, and I need to actually stand up for myself in some capacity to get what it is that I need. Especially because it's in your first house and Pluto is here. It's like, let's advocate for yourself. Let's empower yourself. Let's do the thing that you've maybe pushed aside, that you've been scared to look at, the shadow self, the fear that could come up with difficult situations. Let's address it head on and be truthful about what it is that we feel and need and think. For Aquarius, this is in your 12th house. So for many of you guys, there might be something from the past, or there might be some pain around letting something go that you're not willing to look at. So this could look like, for example, a job. If you've been staying in the job for way too long, there may be some capacity in your life where you're just like, I don't have energy for this anymore. I feel like I can barely tolerate these people around me. I need a break. And that could actually come to the surface. Maybe you've been pushing through. You've been just going through life. I can do this. I got this. And it's like, maybe you don't have it. Maybe there's something that you need to let go of. Or maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's a roommate. Maybe it's some current project that you took on that doesn't actually vibe with you. Maybe it's something in your dynamic with your children. And you start to see, wow, I cannot continue this toxic behavior. My parents did this and now I'm doing this. And so you'll start to see how the past repeats itself. You'll start to see how this is actually something that is just, it doesn't belong in your present moment anymore. It's literally a repetitive karmic cycle. And sometimes with Pluto especially, we can really want to hold on to stuff. It's like, oh, I don't want to let go because this has become a part of me. This has become a part of my identity. This is familiar for me. But it's ultimately just weighing you down. And so there's going to be a need to make peace with that thing in your past, to be very honest with yourself about how maybe you need to take some time to isolate. Maybe you need to take some time alone to reflect, to feel into what you actually really need in this scenario, but there's something in it that's not working. And it could literally just be fear of the past repeating itself. But I feel like for many of you guys, it's going to be a legit actual thing in your life that you need to say goodbye to. And then lastly, we have Pisces. For you guys, this is happening in your 11th house. So if there's any aspect of your community, your local community, your network, your friends, your long-term goals, just really important relationships and objectives in your life, if you've noticed that those have become somehow like tainted or have had some issues with it and you've kind of dealt with it but kind of haven't, you'll really start to see that comes to a head this week. You're really going to start to look around and be like, who the fuck are these people? This is not in alignment with me. That's not in alignment with me. Why the fuck am I tolerating these people? Why am I here? Why am I doing this? And it's just like, you become just so, you hit with your own truth, you can't ignore it anymore. And sometimes it's really uncomfortable because the 11th house is our sense of belonging. So there might be something in which we feel like we belong that we don't want to take ourselves out of, but it's not working. And there needs to be some kind of shift. And when Pluto and Mercury conjunct here, you will have the realization about what exactly that is. And this could again be long-term goals where you're like, I was planning on moving in with this person. I was planning on moving to a different state and doing this job, but actually I don't want to do that. That's not where I see myself going anymore. I don't really feel connected to these friends. I don't feel connected to that life objective. And you have to start kind of shifting yourself. And it's uncomfortable, but start shifting yourself to align with something that actually feels true for you and empowering for you. And then again, we have Mercury moving into Aquarius on the 11th, which for you guys is going to be, which for everyone is going to be in the next house after Capricorn. And that's just basically going to tell us to put a little bit of focus into that area of life to put a little bit more attention, especially in terms of like activity, things to do, kind of catching up on paperwork, little tasks. So that's what Mercury tends to be really good at. So in general, that's the message I see for you guys. I really feel like we're going to get lots of energy, lots of momentum when we actually voice this truth, when we address this shadow, when we deal with this thing head on. And Mercury conjunct Pluto on Friday is going to give us the absolute truth, nothing but the truth, and the opportunity to fucking own who we are, what we feel, what we want. So I hope you guys enjoy this. If you did, please comment down below, and I hope you have a beautiful one.